Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. This video is about why your negative emotions are actually good for you. Hi, my name is Jack, and I used to have absolutely no control over my emotions. I was incredibly anxious. I would be, lost in my thoughts 24/7, didn't know what to do when I felt depressed or anxious, and so I would hide under the duvet on Netflix or on YouTube, hoping to make myself feel better. But inevitably, when the YouTube stopped, I would still feel like shit. Over the years, I've learned a few things that have helped me manage my emotions a lot better, and I started this YouTube channel in order to talk about that, among other things. So today we're going to talk about something called emptying the well of feelings. And this is about how when we feel the underlying emotions that we don't want to feel, sadness, guilt, shame, fear, anxiety, whatever you want to call it, we engage in various activities in order to distract ourselves from having to feel this feeling. The first one that we engage in is the activity of thinking. We cast our mind to the future or we cast our mind to the past in order to escape the present where this uncomfortable feeling is inhabiting our body. That's number one. That's my favourite and my personal poison of choice. Or we escape to external activities, exercising, going to see pals, going on fucking Bumble, drinking, YouTube, yada, 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 yada. These activities are designed and we use them to avoid staring into the abyss and just being with this uncomfortable feeling that we don't like to feel. And a lot of people, for the vast majority of their entire existence, their every action is designed to help them escape from sitting and feeling a bit of sadness, or sitting and feeling anxious, or sitting and feeling depressed, which is fucking mental when you think about it. But I'm also talking about myself here because I used to do it for many, many, many years. But there is another way to handle this emotion other than shoving cocaine up your nose 3 times a week, funnily enough. And this is the stance of becoming empty, becoming nothing, and taking and allowing space in order to allow these emotions to kind of like coax them up to the surface so that we can process them. You can do this through the Sedona method. You can do this through open focus, through meditation where you're focusing on the sensations in your body. There's many ways to do this. And if we can start learning how to allow these emotions to be there, what you'll notice after a while is that the sadness or the guilt or whatever it is you're feeling is just the surface level of the emotion. And as you go deeper down, it becomes harder to name whatever the emotion is, because you're going further and further into the past, into the baseline emotional experience of who you are as a human being. And when you get to the very base, you'll realize that you're basically experiencing the raw ego, and that is where all of the negative emotions come from. Because we are whole, we are complete, we need nothing to survive, we are one of the all, according to spiritual traditions, and also I've had a few experiences that have made me feel like this. And the ego is separation. The ego is, I am Jack, you're there, this is my chocolate, that's your chair. And this sense of separation is the root cause of every single emotion that we don't want to experience, because what we want to experience is our true being, which lies just beneath the ego, and our true being is love, is connection, is oneness, is openness. And the ego stops all of that from happening because it's all about separation. The ego is literally separation. That's all it is. And this feeling that we want to experience in life, which is the oneness, the connectedness, whatever you want to call it, we get it in glimpses. When you're having sex with someone that you really connect with, or when you're jamming in music, or when you're, in a fucking crowd at a gig and everyone's singing the same song. For a moment, we stop feeling separate. For a moment, we feel part of something bigger. And I'm positing that there's a way to sustain this feeling regardless of whether you're at the fucking Arctic Monkeys gig singing out the encore. So the point is that it's very good that you're experiencing these negative emotions, because that means that they are bubbling up from the very core of your being to the surface of your awareness, and that means they're ready to be processed. So if you continue to watch YouTube, you're never going to process them and you're never going to experience what it's like to actually feel good. But the fact that they're there is an opportunity to work through them and to get them to fuck away from you and away from your physical system. What you want to do is you want to just allow the emotions to bubble up. You want to sit with them. You want to stay with them. You want to pay attention to where they are in your body. If they're moving, is it running down your leg? Is it coming up? Do you feel tension in your fucking eyebrows? Is it coming to your cheek? Is it in your chest? What does it feel like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it have a flavour? Does it have a colour? Try and pay more and more and more attention to this feeling, which you do, by the way, by just fucking sitting down without distracting yourself and like leaning into it. It happens. You can do it within 2 minutes. And just allow it to be. Allow it to be there for forever, for the rest of your life, if that's what it needs. Don't stay with it for a motive. Don't stay with it because I'm going to sit with this for an hour so that I can fucking get rid of it. That's just the ego coming back in there to co-opt the spiritual process. You just sit with it. And eventually, you do this long enough, and it's the stuff that starts to go. It comes in like a wave. You'll feel the fear coming up, and then you sit with it long enough, and then it just starts to dissipate. That's how you know it's actually gone, and you start to release more and more and more of this shit that's been in your system for your entire life, and you start to feel very different, because if your entire life you've been living through the prism of these emotions, and when they're not there, you're like, oh, I just feel pretty good today. Why? I don't know. No reason at all. It just, I just feel quite happy. Quite joyous. You're laughing a bit more, you're fucking whistling to yourself. All the good shit. So give that a bash. It's called Emptying the Well of Feelings, and have a lovely day.